All right, so in this lesson, we will use the law of sines. So use the law of sines to solve for unknown side lengths and unknown angle measures of triangles. Before we use the law of sines, I just have to let you know what it is first. So let's use this triangle. This law of sines will work on any triangle, and I'm going to keep stressing that it'll work on any triangle. But let me explain it. So we have this angle A right here, right? So the sine of angle A over the length across, opposite of it. So we'll say side A is proportional to the sine of angle B over the length B, so the side opposite of it, which is proportional to, let's use this pink again, the sine of angle C over the side length opposite of it. It's kind of arbitrary. You'll see when which one's A, which one's B, which one's C. But basically, the sine of the angle over the side opposite is going to be proportional to the other sines of the other angles over their opposite sides. Let's go ahead and use this. So example 1, what is the length of YZ? So we're looking for this bad boy right here. Let's make it green. Okay. Actually, let me do it like that. Okay. So we have this 44, and it is a cross, or it's opposite of this 10, this YX. And then we have like this 75 degrees, and it's opposite side X. So all we have to do is write. Let's start off with the yellow, because I know y'all prefer our information on the left that we know. No, let's do that. You know what? Let's do that instead. I'm gonna make this like this. Okay. You know what? I don't even know why I did it like that. It doesn't even stand out. Okay, here we go. I'll make it blue. Okay, so sine of 75 degrees over X equals sine of 44 degrees over 10. All right, so I'm going to multiply both sides by 10. Oops, I don't know why I did that. The reason I do this is to get rid of, oh, that's not the smartest move. I could do that. I'm just going to multiply both sides by X, though, because I want to try to bring this X up. It's like on the bottom of the denominator, and it's, it's not going to be cool being there. So I get sine of 75 degrees equals sine 44 degrees. We'll put X sine 44 degrees over 10. Okay, now let's multiply by 10. It doesn't really matter which order. I just figured I would explain. I would show you to move the X first. That's a pretty good habit to have, but it doesn't really matter. So I'll multiply by 10. So I get 10 sine 75 degrees equals X sine of 44 degrees. And then I'm going to divide each side by sine 44 degrees. So I'm going to write X equals 10 sine 75 degrees over sine 44 degrees, which is approximately, okay, let's calculate this. So 10 sine 75 degrees. So scientific, I'm going to write 10 sine 75. Maybe if I do that. Oh man, okay, 10 sine 75 degrees over sine of 44 degrees is approximately 13.9. Approximately 13.9 units, whatever they are. I guess we should practice writing units if we don't know what they are, because we don't know what it's 10 inches, 10 meters, 10 whatever. All right, if you notice, we put the x first, but then it ended up on the right side, and then we had to switch it, which is absolutely fine. But I'm gonna put the x on this side. That way, when we move it, it becomes to the left side the first time. But I'm going to show you something less advanced, like how to find angles, right? So we have 35 degrees. It is opposite of the 45. And then we want to know angle B. So let's do that. And that's opposite of the 23. Now, normally you would just, you might say something like, all right, something like sine of 35 degrees over 45 is proportional to sine of x degrees over, or what is it with sine of x over 23. You don't have to do it this way, though. You could technically, and we'll do it this way, put 45 over sine of 35 degrees. And you could just say that that's proportional to 23 over sine of x. Let me try this. Like that. You can do it like this if you want. It really doesn't matter. I'm going to do it this way just to show you. Actually, what I'll do is I'm going to see if I can have room to do it on both sides to show you that it's the same thing. So 45 over sine of 35 degrees equals sine of x, 23. Over sine of x. Okay, so on this one, I'm going to multiply by both sides by 23. That's a lot of, I'm just going to do it like this. So I'm going to reverse this. I'm going to put, I'm going to write sine of x equals 23 sine of 35 degrees over 45. And let's get, so I have to inverse sine this, right? What should I use? Blue. So I'm going to inverse sine. Like I said, no one really writes it this way, but I prefer to write it this way. Okay, so we get, I'm just going to write like this. Oops. Inverse sine of 23 sine 35 degrees over 45. So, we'll put x equals. So x is approximately Inverse sine of 23. So we'll do inverse sine fraction 23 sine 35 over 45. That's approximately 17.04, 17.05. Now let's do it over here. So I'm going to multiply by sine of x. I'll do it like this. Oops. And I get 45 sine of x over the sine of 35 equals 23. Now, if you notice, this doesn't really help me a whole lot, but it does bring the x's up, like they're up here now. So now I can move everything back. So I'm going to do, I'll use this. I'm going to multiply this. So I get 45 sine of x equals 23 sine of 35. Then I want to divide by 45. Divide by 45. And I end up with the sine of x equals 23 sine 35 over 45. Now remember, like this is basically this step right here. Actually, I'm going to write that in that just so you can see it a little better. I end up with sine of x equals 23 sine of 35 over 45. And so that's the same step right here. I want to point to it actually. And so then all I have to do is inverse sine. X equals the inverse sine of 23 sine 35 degrees over 45. And of course, I get the same approximate answer because that's the same thing. 17.05 is the angle. And I guess over here I should put angle B, we'll label as X, like that. So it doesn't matter which way you do it. Maybe I should write something there. So you can either do this way, it's shorter, or this way, it's longer. So, but the point is that you may not mean for it to be shorter or longer, but just know that you'll end up with the same exact answer.